And we're live. It's the Red Pill here with the Red Pill Dispensary. Like me, I'm sure that you are having I don't know, I guess you can call it like as I put in the title, it's a sensory overload of just, I say distractions, but it's real. Uh, there's real fears out there. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I think the distraction is. However, people in power, when they are in situations like this, they will use them. They will use these distractions for sure. You know, um, there's a great possibility. In fact, it's really what I think that these distractions were made. How you doing, Tony? And thank you, by the way. I thank you for that. Every little bit helps, brother. Thank you. And the distractions, whether they're designed or not, and in this case I think that they are, but they're designed for there's a bigger purpose going on here. Yet this is when they pass through some of like the you always see some crazy bill being passed through. A lot of CEOs will step down. It's a good time to have a mini scandal if you're gonna have it. You might as well take care of it now because it's not gonna get covered. Between what's going on in politics with the presidential race, between what's going on, and this is how I'm gonna call it from now on, the Charlie Victor 19er, CV 19, or just Charlie Victor, whatever you want. But the Charlie Victor 19er, I mean that's if you're not seeing news about that, then it's about this. Everyone's so surprised, but you know what? I don't think the people who the puppeteers, they're not surprised. It was supposed to be Biden from the beginning, and they knew they had dirt on him. Now, what's the best way? Now, this dirt is real, but what's the best way to kind of almost make yourself immune to that dirt? Well, become an actual candidate for president. Um, I'm not saying it can't happen. It happened to President Trump and Cruz only the last election. So yeah, they can be messed with even when they're right there. But I just don't think that this administration operates exactly in that way. Although they are operating covertly for sure. And by the way, speaking of Ted Cruz, there'll be a lot of little like red pills like this. Ted Cruz, after going to a certain event, is now ordered to be self-quarantined. Yep, you heard me right. Ted Cruz is self-quarantined right now. So, I mean, what's that tell you? Even people like him, although obviously he'll get the best medical care, but people don't know this yet. This is like, I don't even know if I haven't seen it anywhere else. I actually picked up a great source, and they hit me with this right before I went live. It's a small thing, but it's a thing. Ted Cruz is self-quarantined right now, ordered. But when all these distractions happen, not only, can you just take advantage of them naturally, it doesn't mean that you created them. You can just take advantage of them. That's where you want to look. If you want to find truth, that's where you got to look. As far as the Charlie Victor 19er virus, you have to almost kind of just like take it as it comes. Listen what's going on in other countries. Listen to what's going on in your local neighborhood. For instance, let's go around the map. California, lockdown. State of emergency. Big deal. Up here in Massachusetts, it's about to get horrible. I spoke to somebody who works as a nurse in Metro West and Metro West Boston, and there's going to be, or there already is, schools shutting down. But the reason those schools are shutting down, this person knows about it as well. There's going to be all kinds of new cases popping up. And I'll tell you this, everyone's demanding these tests, which CNN, they're a little funny. They're like, well, South Korea does 15,000 tests a day. But what they do, they just take samples and kind of, do math and standard deviation and all that. It's different than an actual thorough test. And by the way, these tests, you see a lot of tests that turn out being like false positives. And if you guys have heard my story, I know all about false positives. Those happen all the time. They have to go up the chain of command. That's why you always see like presumed. That just means that the CDC has to come in and confirm. Chain of command type of stuff. There's probably a few reasons for that. Let's be honest. We're going to go over a couple things. The type of stuff that you might not have heard. That's the type of stuff I want to talk about. Like that. Ted Cruz is self-quarantined. That blew my mind. That source just texted me that. So thank you for that information. What do we got here? So all right. So how you doing, West Texas? That's a good one. That the Kung Flu. A little bit off, isn't Kung Fu Japanese? Yeah, so a little bit off. But the Japanese, they have surprisingly not handled this well. I could go around the whole country, the whole world, I mean. And I know about each country, what they're doing. In Spain right now, they are locking people down against their will. We'll go over that. In Italy, it is very, very bad in Italy. We'll be going over some of that. Now, the most fascinating story of all, I'll start with South Korea. Now, South Korea has this religious group, and it's led by a man who's one of many, but he's probably like the most, maybe not popular, but definitely the most followed I am Jesus person. So now I know in the Bible, if somebody really is a prophet and you call them and you kind of mock them and say they're not a prophet, that's bad news. It's like automatic. So I'm gonna be a little bit careful just in case. But anyways, so the man believes he's the second coming of Jesus. He has a huge following. And he is single-handedly responsible for the majority of the cases in South Korea. Now, how can that be? How could one man be responsible for the majority of the cases in a country as populated as South Korea and as close to China as it is? I mean, as we know, we have South Korea only because we would have, in the Korean War, we were pushing, and then China threw whatever number, 100,000 to 500,000 men into the mix and stopped the line right there. And that's where you have the line, North Korea, South Korea, and to this day it remains a war. It's still on paper, it's still war. Unless, wait, did Trump Trump might have signed something that actually finalized that, actually, now that I think of it. But it had been for a long time. But it's still treated that way at the border. I knew a bunch of people who were stationed in South Korea. But this is like oh wow, huh? That, yeah? Huh. Interesting. If you guys read that from Brian. Interesting. Good to know. I didn't know that those particulars of the testing. That's it makes sense. We always get screwed in those ways. And it's such a public demand. But sometimes the public really wants something so bad. Guess what? Once they get it, and those numbers literally are gonna go through the roof. When you start testing everybody with a cough or a sniffle, I'm telling you, it's going to go through the roof. President Trump actually said it, and he's accurate in this. A lot of people have it, like especially like men, let's say, not to say, men or women, and they have a life. They have to go about their life, and the symptoms really aren't that bad. They're 30 years old, 40 years old, and they're in relatively good shape and active and have a good immune system, and they just kind of fight it off. Whereas it can be deadly in other cases, yet at the same time it's mutating. We actually have 4 different viruses, 2 which are really the ones that we're looking at, the S and the L. And I think last time, did I say the L was more it's actually the S that's more deadly. Unless I did, for some reason I feel like my last show I said L. The S type is more deadly. You have the HIV genome, and I've seen them basically break down the genome into these sequences of numbers. I mean letters, and you can see. First of all, they show the HIV exactly what you would see, and bang, there it was, right inside the virus. Except now, this is from someone in America. It's mutated. One of the letters changed. This thing's mutating. But first, let me just tell you a story about South Korea. I kind of get off track. So this guy in South Korea, he says that he's Jesus, right? He has a huge, huge following. Now, this following, what they did was they went to Wuhan or something. They were trying to help people, and they came home, and they infected everybody. And not only that, a lot of them refused to be tested or treated. A lot of them actually believe, and this is what he's saying. Some of this could be a little bit off, but we're going to go over. I'm going to actually show you the story. You know what? Let's just show you the story just to make sure that I got this right. This is like this story of all of them really blows my mind, and then there's a bunch of other stuff I want to go over. It's like I said, it's sensory overload. It's if you try to even keep up with the Charlie Victor 19er, honestly, it's like almost like too much. But I basically get a grasp on it. But what am I just going to ignore everything else? So I'm trying to look at other things. There's so much going on. By the way, North Korea just fired a missile. That's what I mean. Perfect timing, right? 3 new launches. So North Korea has just lashed out with 3 new launches. Yep. Hold on, let me share screen. All right, so So 3 new launches in South Korea. Basically, just the headlines, what matters. And unidentified projectile fight off coast. Um, all right, you guys get the idea. All right, now let's look at this South Korea. It's unbelievable. And actually, they're looking to charge him with some type of murder or manslaughter. Um, like literally, the people of South Korea are out for this guy's head. So what might actually happen is he might actually become like a martyr. You know, he says he's the second coming of Jesus. All they're going to do is strengthen the following. Sometimes you cut off the head of the snake and that's it. But when the head of the snake claims to be the savior, and then we all know the story of Jesus, I just find this very, very interesting. So check this out. So controversial church at center of South Korean outbreak. And right now, South Korea is number 2 behind China. So this is no small outbreak. South Korea really has it bad right now. A church whose leader claims he is an angel of Jesus. He's actually also claimed he was Jesus, like back. He's. I've seen ones and I've seen videos where he says he's Jesus, but here it says an angel of Jesus has become the biggest cluster of viral infections in South Korea, where a surge in new cases raises fear that the outbreak is getting out of control. A total of 152 cases. Oh, wait, when is this? Let me make sure this is up to date, because when it comes to the Charlie Victor, you need to be. Oh, yeah, forget this story. When I saw 128, I'm like, what? Out of here. Come on, man. I want to see. Let me get something more. Because this isn't new news, but at the same time, I don't see anybody talking about it. That's why I wanted to talk about it like a week ago. All right, let's just get the facts of what's actually going on first. Okay. So churches go online in South Korea. Number of new infections drops. So that's good. This is from 4 hours ago. Hundreds of churches across South Korea closed their doors yesterday and held online services as the country reported its lowest number of new coronavirus cases in more than a week. And we're talking a week where it has been absolutely just, it's overwhelming everywhere, but South Korea, next to China, got it really bad. And if it really started getting bad a week ago, that means that the mistakes were made a month ago. You see how that works? You know, that's why the U.S. could be a lot worse if we hadn't stopped those flights when we did. But if you remember my show back then, I said, what did I say? 1 week too late. Had they done it 1 week earlier, and also WHO declared an emergency 1 week earlier, I think that the U.S. and the world really would be in much better shape. I keep that video. Although that wasn't my first video, but that was the first video where I didn't talk about anything but Charlie Victor 19er. Or what was it? The Kung Flu. That's so bad. That was a good one. All right. I don't know why I find stupid stuff like that funny. All right, so there's nothing funny about this. So South Korea, which has 7,313 confirmed COVID-19 cases, the highest number outside China, added 272 new cases yesterday, far below the daily increases of they were increasing 500 a day. 2 more people died, bringing the death toll to an even 50. And the thing with South Korea that I like is you can trust the numbers compared to China and Iran type of thing. You can basically trust the numbers. I mean, they had an outbreak and it was reported as such as it happened. So, whereas when Iran had their outbreak, which is 100 times worse than people realize, you didn't see the numbers rise like that. But every single country around them shut their borders a week ago. Despite the smaller rise in the Charlie Victor cases, we are not at a point where we can say the situation has improved. I want to see. See, this isn't what I'm sorry. This isn't what I wanted. What about this man? Oh, here we go. Here it is. Here he is, and this is recent. This was just done. All right, so here he is. Anyway, here is the second coming of Jesus. He calls himself. He has a large following. His name is Lee Man He, founder of the Shincheonji Church of Jesus, speaks during a news conference at its facility in Gapyeong, South Korea on March 2nd. Investigators in South Korea are seeking to establish the extent to which 12 executives of the Shincheonji Church of Jesus can be held criminally responsible for the rapid spread in the country of the Charlie Victor 19, the illness that results from the Charlie Victor. He promises his disciples eternal life. And before I go any further, there's another thing that they were saying. When they didn't want to be like tested and all that, they believed because they were all getting infected, yet they were infecting everyone else, but they're thinking this is the rapture. We get sick, we die, we go, if we're worthy, we go. It's pretty heavy stuff. I mean, when you look, we're going to be at 1 million cases worldwide before you know it. We're probably closer to that number than you realize. Biblically, this has been spoken about. I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you want to put any passages from the Bible that relate, please feel free. Just put, let's say like Isaiah chapter 7, verse 3. I don't know, like that. And we'll take a look at some of them because I've looked at a few. There's so many. As far as revelations go, I know a lot of people think the pale horse. I feel it's the black horse because the pestilence. I feel that it is the white horse with the bow and the crown. That's what I feel. If it's not that, then this was purely designed to, and they're really cracking down on YouTubers. I might not last too long. They're really cracking down on the elderly. Now think about how that would help the economy, the overall population, the money that goes into caring for people that aren't exactly contributing yet have contributed their whole life. They deserve it, obviously, but when you look at the sick ass motherfuckers in the top and the Kabbalah, all right. And listen, I have nothing against Jewish people. I love Jewish people. But there's certain people who have hijacked that religion and have formed a cabal, and it's been there for years and years and years and years. And they run everything. They run the banks. The Federal Reserve, you think that's the United States? No. Why do you think Trump's fighting about interest rates and all that crap? The market, you think they care if it crashes? They're just going to implement something else. With 5G, you can implement some type of cryptocurrency system with a blockchain where you can take away anything based on social credit, based on this and that. This could be the beginning of something huge. Or it could just be what they say it is. I just find that hard to believe. I find it hard to believe. Location-wise, we know that there's 2 labs capable of carrying this virus. Atlanta and Wu-Tang to the Hun. You know what I'm saying? Woo-woo. And right near that market where it started was Wu-Tang. Right? That was in Wu-Tang. I hope you guys, it's pretty clear what I'm saying. But even though I just went off about the cabal, then I didn't censor myself then. Anyways, hold on, let me check on you guys. Oh, interesting. So patient 0, by the way, in Italy was a Pakistani immigrant. I had heard something like that as well. I didn't hear Pakistani. I heard Iranian, but it very well could be. He could have came through Iran. Oh, you listen to Revelations today, Sunshine State? I've been reading Revelations almost every day. Oh, hey, Shea Bear. Yeah, I've been doing the Revelations as well. Trip's in here. All right, Trip. So hey, if we have time to do calls, you're first. Yeah, we just call Wu Tang, Woo Woo. All right. So in Woo also, as if you guys didn't subscribe, you should. She has a good channel. Murphy's Law told us. Aptly named. She told us that, and I looked it up, and there's some legitimacy to this. That there was it's like a military Olympics. Like, you know how they have their war games in the South China Sea, and we always piss off NK and China. Well, this is in China, but they run these different simulations and things like that. And it's all about, it's like a fake, it's like the militaries of the world LARPing. You know what I mean? Like they're doing these simulations and what would happen if, and all this crazy stuff about war. and they're kind of showing off. They can't. Obviously, you have state secrets, methods, obviously equipment, certain technologies that you're not gonna, show there. But the stuff, for the most part, you just go and they kind of play it out. So they play out all these war games. What was it, like a month prior to the breakout? It was late October. So I always said that the breakout started around December 1st, but that's actually when the first person got sick. So the breakout really started a few weeks before that. So it really started probably early to mid November, early to mid November. Well, who knows what went on at those war games where the whole world, by the way, it's not like some countries were there because it's China. And no, every single country was there except for two. I would say North Korea would be one of them, except it was in China, so maybe they were there, but most likely North Korea might be one of them. So they're playing these war games in Woo Woo, Woo to the Tang, that exact province. Hubei is the city, Woo Woo is the. Well, anyways, that's where they were. Where they also have the only other lab along with the Atlanta CDC that can carry this type of virus. And we had a Harvard professor get arrested with a couple Chinese spies as students, trying to sneak some stuff out of Logan Airport, by the way, as well, about a month ago. Actually, they were arrested even before that was reported about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks. Oh, what was that? What's going on? Get out of here. All right. So all that's going on right before this outbreak. Not only that, but what do they call it? Something 201. You know what? Before I get back into my South Korean Jesus, what is the name of that? What is it? Plan to. You know what? I got. Oh, I got you guys. Here we go. By the way, if anything ever goes down, this is where I'll be making my announcement on Twitter. Instead of Red Pill News Dispensary, it's the Red Pill News Dispenser. Even if you type Red Pill News Dispensary, this still comes up. So repeal the Patriot Act. Come back with a warrant. I love it. I want to get that to him. Actually, it'll bring attention. Let's just go through on my way to finding that. I'm gonna go through a few little headliners. A U.S. Marine at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, has tested positive for Charlie Victor 19er, becoming the state's first case of Charlie Victor. Wow, first case in Virginia. I'm surprised. I thought Virginia. Wow, that's the first one. Look at this. So terror cops in hazmat suits force Charlie Victor patients to stay at home in Spain. So they're legit forcing people to stay at home. Legit forcing people. Charlie Victor patients forced to stay at home. Around 30 people infected with the bug in the town of Harrow in the northern province were previously warned they face arrest and forced hospital quarantine if they fail to comply. Do you guys see what's starting to happen around the world? And here in the U.S., we have, first of all, like, we have these idiots who take every single one of, like, the alcohol and things. And listen, I totally understand prepping. But stuff like that, where you only need, like, maybe 3 or 4, to take, like, 100 and most likely, price gouge and sell them for 10 times more. That's what they're trying to do. You see someone trying to walk out with like 100 things. And toilet paper has been a commodity. If you're in a place that hasn't been hit yet, get your TP, get your supplies, get them. This isn't even like before. I'd say, well, you could use them another time. No, get them. All right, like this isn't just going down normal. So here in the U.S., this is the type of crap going on here. Look at everyone. Look at all. Everyone got toilet paper. Wait, that was it? Where's the fight? Hold on, hold on. Here we go. Oh, this is actually in Australia. I just figured America. I just figured it was America, you know? Fist fight over toilet paper. Sounds American. No, it's Australia. They're fighting over toilet paper. Look at them. They gained up on her. They got that TP though. They got that TP though. Look at all that. And they got, look how many they got. She just wants one. She's like, can I have a roll? Just one roll? The sound don't matter, right? Should I play with sound actually? Yeah.
Please. I just want one pack. No, not one pack. What's the limit? That's 5 minutes. Right.
Guys, I need everyone to back off right now.
What did I say? You get one pack. Well, one pack. I said one roll. I toss her a roll. You just beat the shit out of her. You friggin' jumped her, two of you. That girl would have, if you guys weren't together, trust me, that girl would have handled one-on-one. I think she would have did her job. And she would have had all that TP. Yeah, she wanted one pack. Sure, yeah. I could always depend on her to come up with something. Gearing up for when Trump wins again. Oh, speaking of, before we go any further. All right, so the whole Democratic race, all this. Out of nowhere. Totally just coincidence, right? Shoot. All right. Totally just a coincidence. All of a sudden, Biden looks like he might be the candidate. The guy who literally, we're going to go over some of the stuff he's done just in the past few days, which is, I mean, we could watch like 20 compilations of this guy saying the craziest crap, but just the stuff the last few days. What are liberals thinking? As somebody who was a liberal, I just don't get it. Didn't you learn with the last election, voting like, not voting who you like, who you vote for, who you're passionate about, who you like. A lot of people wanted to vote for Warren, but they felt like Bernie had the better chance. A lot of people wanted to vote for, let's say, Tulsi Gabbard, who I actually liked. But they, just felt like her electability and all that. Although her electability is probably better than all of them as far as like a one-on-one against Trump. And what they do is, who got all the money, first of all? First, it was Kamala Harris. Well, she endorsed him. Then it was Pete. He's the one that took all the money. Looked like he was doing pretty good at one point in Iowa. He drops out right before Super Tuesday. As does the person on the rise, Amy Klobuchar. She drops out right before Super Tuesday. I'm telling you. And Bernie said it himself. He said, yeah, I gotta, I have to be ready to go against the Republicans and Trump. He said, but honestly, I have a bigger fight in my hands, and that's against the DNC. He got screwed in 2016. Everyone knows it. He knows it. And it's happening again. They got him. They had all their candidates. I'm telling you, there are people who have that kind of power. There's a certain level. Okay. There's the politicians, then there's like the billionaires, and then there's like the trillionaire shot callers, cabal, all that. And they told them, after giving them all this money, Bloomberg out. I think Bloomberg naturally was out from the beginning. I never thought anyone in the Democrat Party, they hate billionaires, right? Someone buys his way in. That never would have worked. So that didn't work. He also endorses Biden. And then literally, even though one just won a state and was doing well, and the other one was literally the person who was on the rise, they both drop out right before the election. Literally 3 days before the election, 85% of the people who voted for Biden would have never voted for him. They would have voted for one of the other ones. It's just they don't want Bernie. They're worried about, first of all, him going against Trump. And it's there is some truth to that. There's certain parts of the country he just has no chance in. Many parts of the country, with the socialism agenda. And but Biden, that's who they're going with. It just blows my mind. I'm like waiting for something else to happen, but no, Super Tuesday already happened. Like, that's it. This is it. It's these two old white guys, a socialist, and honestly, even though he's a crook, even though he's corrupt, even though he was involved in all that BS that Obama was involved in, and maybe much worse, and we'll be finding that out soon, and that's something else we'll be talking about. There's a lot of things I need to get to tonight. So it's like that's what I'm trying to say. It's like sensory overload, distraction. It is so up to put a man who has obviously, like, he's always been a little bit off, you know what I mean? Kind of like shoot from the hip, just say anything. No, there's something else going on. It's the beginning stages of dementia. And, they know it. And they're all giddy about it. I mean, is that what we want for a president? Is that what they want? Do you know that they had a poll, 80% of people either were angry leaving the poll or very unhappy, like the two worst categories. So they voted like, ugh. And they said, what's the number one thing? It wasn't economy. It wasn't the state of the country. It wasn't anything to do with this country. It was beat Trump. And what do you end up with? This guy. All right. This guy I mean, I think the DNC is disgusting. I could never see myself being a Democrat again. I will always be an independent, first of all, because I've learned this whole two-party BS. It's designed to take the power from the people. They decide who's going to be our choices, and it's disgusting. Warren did the right thing by backing out, giving Bernie a chance. Had she done it, they should have seen it. They should have seen it coming. As far as like he would do well, I don't think anyone thought he would do that well. I can't believe he won Massachusetts. How do you win Massachusetts when Bernie's from Vermont right above us, and then right above us to the other side? I mean, in our own forget it. In our own state is Warren. Biden won Massachusetts. I mean, it's like that in every state. Had she dropped out prior, I think he would have won. She would have won. Bernie would have won every single one of those states. But I just think it's disgusting with it, regardless of what. Yeah, good point. Good point. But you know what? It's easy to control and all that. But you know what? I don't know. It makes no sense. I don't see the path forward with this guy. I don't see it. He's going to get killed in the debates. All right? He doesn't even know if he's standing next to his wife or his sister. All right? He thought he got elected on a Thursday. Not elected, but he thought he had this big win on a Super Thursday. I mean, there's so much weird stuff. He's taking